to order this school board meeting of the school directors on this Monday, August 19th, 2019. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the business of the Gettysburg Area School District. Public comment is welcome, and issues will be referred to the appropriate board committee or administrator. Comments will be summarized in the official board minutes, which will be available by contacting the business office. I'm going to welcome our guests that are here tonight. Welcome our new reporter tonight from the Times. Appreciate you being here tonight. Let's see, we have two administrators here tonight. So, welcome. We did have an executive session prior to this meeting dealing with personnel, and there will be a short executive session following the meeting dealing with personnel, so hang around after the meeting. Ms. Collins, everybody is here except Mrs. Pratt, who is excused tonight. She has a commitment at Hack. So. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any notices or communications from any of the board members to share? There is no citizen participation tonight. Board committee reports.
We have it's summertime and we have not been meeting as the Finance Buildings and Grounds Committee. I anticipate we start meeting again in the fall.
Al?
Same here with Policy Committee. We do look at bringing the full committee together in September. We have a pretty big agenda there. There are several policies for final approval on there tonight. We did have some email interaction with Alex Hayes at the time, and I think we clarified with the news media relations policy that basically our relationship with them and the interpretation of the policy is no different than what it's been in the past. So, and he did follow up, and I think he was comfortable with that answer.
Thank you.
I'll just ask you, under the policy, does that include what's the timetable at the exploration of maybe changing or tweaking that, what is that, 1001 or 006? You know which one I'm talking about?
Right. That one we're going to address in September when we get the full committee, including the teacher committee, together and address those. So that'll be coming very soon.
All right, Dr. Carr, turn it over to you.
Dr. Lake?
Good evening. Our summer academy officially wrapped up last Friday. Today was the first day of the new teacher school year. Our sessions were well attended, as well as lots of hours working on our curriculum. And on Thursday and Friday of last week, a group of administrators and teachers attended a Mapping and Understand Curriculum for 21st Century Learning with Jay McTighe, and then developing project-based assessments on Friday. So we look forward to continuing this work throughout the school year and into next summer. Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot of our administrative team is out this evening preparing for a very busy week with district opening tomorrow morning and students beginning on Wednesday. And so we're looking forward to that. Anybody that's available and would like to attend, we're at the middle school tomorrow morning for breakfast from 7:15 to 8. And our program begins at 8 o'clock. Carlos will say a few words on behalf of the board, and he'll introduce any board members that are in attendance. So certainly welcome to stop in for that. And I have a couple of other items, but I'll wait until the informational items on the agenda.
All right, we'll move into our business items then. We'll start with 9, personnel, item 9.1, to and including item 9.5. So,
Second?
discussion or questions? All right, hearing none. Ken?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Sylvan?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
I vote yes. We have two other items under personnel tonight. 9.7, that the board discuss and take action on a request to employ Todd Deshawn as James Geddes Elementary School Principal, effective on a date to be determined. Dr. Deshawn will receive a salary of $105,000 plus receive benefits as listed in the administrative compensation plan.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, take the vote. Alice?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Sylvan?
Yes, with a good sense of satisfaction.
Carrie?
Yes.
Ken?
How do you follow that?
And I vote yes. And Todd is here. Congratulations, Todd. Welcome to Gettysburg.
Maybe he should introduce his wife.
Oh, yes. Would you like to introduce your wife?
This is my wife Lisa, been married 27 years, and she's my better half, obviously, so this is everybody.
Welcome. And you'll be moving into the community as soon as, no, just kidding. Okay. Next, 9.8, that the board discuss and take action on a request to employ Brandy Glenn Ackers as Coordinator of Educational Services, effective on a date to be determined. Ms. Glenn Ackers will receive a salary of $97,000 plus receive benefits as listed in the administrative compensation plan.
So moved.
Second. Open for discussion, comments. Okay. Al?
Yes, sir.
Mike?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Sylvan?
With another yes and satisfaction.
Carrie?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Welcome, Brandy. Congratulations, you're now awarded.
Welcome.
Okay, you'll have to give up the Trojan slogan now and become a lawyer. Okay, you're okay with that, all right. Next, there are information items under curriculum and programs. Dr. Kern is going to give you some info on that, and then we have an opportunity to discuss.
Safe travels.
Yes.
Sure, it's going to give you kind of a general overview on the draft document that was in executive content on your agenda. This is something that I've been thinking about since last spring. Statewide, we're dealing with kind of a shortage of folks who, A, are choosing to go into administration, and B, once they have and have gotten the certification, sometimes aren't necessarily ready. So that happened to coincide with working every couple months with some superintendents statewide on various projects. And so what came out of those conversations, along with conversations with our district admin team, was to make an attempt to try to create some leadership experiences within the district. So the reason that the document that you saw says draft document is probably because it'll be a draft all year as we work through the first year of how this works and make adjustments as we go. So basically the idea behind it is kind of threefold, trying to meet three goals. One is to create career ladders for teachers, give them opportunity for leadership roles in a wide variety of both classroom and outside the classroom experiences. Two is to bolster our internal pool whenever we do have positions become available. And the third is to kind of enhance readiness so that if we do choose those folks, that they can step in day one and really kind of have an idea of how we do things. And I'll give you an example. So if you go through a principal preparation program, you might do it as part of a master's program. So you take a number of courses and then you do an internship, and then you get your first job and you attend your first IEP meeting as an LEA. Unless you've really gained experiences and kind of sitting in those meetings, it's really kind of learning on the job. So we provide some of those experiences while folks are kind of working through their program, and the folks who I've shared this with at this point are pretty excited about the opportunity. We would probably choose a cohort of about 8 to 10 folks for the first year, folks that have earned their certification or are working towards their certification, and then maybe in future years open it up to folks who maybe hadn't even thought about it, but someone sees a lot of potential in the work that they're doing. I'd also like to see this go beyond the instructional realm and create the same kind of career ladders for folks on the operational side of our house, within the Buildings and Grounds Department, within facilities, and we know how hard it is to fill those roles. We've been looking for a director, all summer with regards to that role. So I think, I'm hoping that this is something that grows each year over a period of time. And I've had conversations with the new intermediate unit director. We've had conversations about, someday, depending upon how well we're able to pull it off, maybe regionalizing it in terms of an IU or a county. And because in the long run, we're kind of all in this together. So if we create 2 leaders for us and 1 for one of our neighbors, that's great too. And so I think it's, I see this kind of being win-win for lots of different people, mostly the district. And so we're just gonna give it a shot this year, see how it goes, and we'll make some adjustments on the fly as we need to. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's an opportunity to engage with some folks outside the normal routines of things as well. So if there are any questions, and I'll give updates throughout the year as it's going on to see how we're doing. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I appreciate that you mentioned, my initial question was what you already said, which is later on, if that's working out well, potentially opening up to people that don't already have a certification and may not work in that way. For the initial phase, there are then, I would assume, enough people that have certification or are working towards that could be a part of that.
Sure. There are, and I think that we could outplay it by year. And what we're going to do is I'm going to roll this out tomorrow as part of the opening day presentation. There'll be a slide on it, and I'm just going to give an overview and tell folks just to watch for an email once school starts, because really I want their focus right now to be on getting their classrooms ready and kind of starting the school year. But we'll put that together, and then they'll indicate interest through a survey. And if we get 7 instead of 8 to 10, then we'll roll to 7. If we get 6, we'll roll to 6. If we get 2, we'll reevaluate, and we'll kind of go from there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Parent, very forward thinking, because we know there will be a teacher shortage, but then will also be an administrator shortage. We may or may not be feeling those effects here, but certainly in other areas, urban areas, they're definitely feeling them already. So it helps to retain staff, quality staff, when they feel they're doing for advancement and career ladders do just that. So I love that this has been put together, and that Gettysburg is forward thinking in how to retain and high quality staff and move them into leadership positions if they would like to.
I'm excited to work. This is, I'll play a small role in this, but it'll be a team effort with a lot of members of the admin team, because we really want to make sure that, for instance, if somebody's background is high school and they have their K-12 principal cert, whatever experiences we give them throughout the year, we want to make sure that we're varying those. Sometimes it's in elementary schools, sometimes with Kelly DeWeese in special ed, because there might be some interest they identify that they might not think they had in the past if we give them some varied experiences. But thanks.
Any other questions?
So one other, so are you anticipating some of these
Right, so the goal is that they could do everything from cover for an administrator, to help them process, say, like student referrals, or, the principals could work with 2 or 3 of them and say, here's this project we were thinking about. Is this something that you could help lead and get off the ground? And I think that, one of the, acceptable, cool results, is that even if at the end of this, we give them their certificate for completing the program, which is something else that they can put on their resume and kind of set them apart. If it simply makes them an even better teacher leader, I'm good with that too. So that's the other benefit, is leadership experiences are going to help regardless of what role folks continue to have kind of down the road.
Do they bring their own ideas and ask administrators?
I'm sure they could
Administration?
have conversations with their admin. Most of our folks are really open to that.
I would agree that it's a really good idea. Since we subsidize a major part of the graduate study, I'm sure we have a pretty good idea, how many people we have in that pipeline, which is fantastic that they would be able to get a flavor for what it's about before jumping in full bore. So I commend you for your efforts.
It's almost like, student teaching prepares you for teaching to a degree. When somebody hands you the keys to your classroom, then you really kind of learn a lot about it. The same thing happens with administrators. You kind of get that base knowledge, and you have some experiences in the school, but so we're trying to produce some of those real embedded experiences that they're going to be able to speak to when they're talking about leadership in and outside of the district.
McDaniel has several MOUs with 14 different counties in the state of Maryland. Howard County comes to mind right away. They've been doing an Aspiring Administrators program for quite some time, and I'd be happy to share their agenda with you if you're interested.
I'd be happy to look at it. Yep.
You have another item.
Sure, just an update on, we continue, my first year we had the four district goals that Gettysburg had whenever I arrived, and kind of the first year, worked with the admin team on kind of redefining those, and then the second year, we said those are the goals, so what are we doing to meet the goals, and those kind of became strategies. And then this coming year, which is my third or junior year in the district, taking a look at benchmarks, saying, here's the goals, here's the strategies we're using to meet them, how do we know if we're getting there? We've always looked at, I know we had an assessment update in January. It's really easy a lot of times to look at assessment data, whether it be formative or summative, to kind of gauge how your district's doing. But there are things that we also care about deeply, such as whether kids are happy at school, and whether they have adults that care about them, and whether they feel like they're engaged in learning every day. There are a lot of those kind of things that you can really only get at through qualitative research. So our goal this year is to kind of find some benchmarks for each of the 4 goals, and a small subset of the admin team met with Dr. Fuller. He's an evaluation expert from Penn State. He's director of their policy evaluation center. Works with a lot of districts. So, would try to work with him on creating really good tools that we could use to get that data on a yearly basis. So, in year 1, we might start with students and parents, and then year 2, students, parents, teachers, and then you have a second year of data for that group, and really kind of get into the how are we doing on a yearly basis mode, because if you're not getting out of the park with some of your goals, you might be in a different goal, or if you're not doing so well, then that might cause you to rethink your strategies for meeting that goal. So it's really about getting explicit about kind of what are we trying to measure, and how are we going to measure it? So, you know, down the road this fall, what I would like to do is come back to the board. Probably, my guess would be timing wise, would be like sometime in October, and say, okay, here are the benchmarks, and you know, we would like to work with Ed as a partner on this, and here's what it would cost, and then have the board consider funding that. So that's kind of where we are with the project.
You have some benchmarks listed here for all of these that I'm assuming gathered from last year, so you said.
A combination of conversations from spring and summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what you're saying moving forward would be the implementation of it for the yearly basis, including more qualitative?
Right, so that each year when we're looking at how we're doing, we have all that quantitative data.
Right.
Graduation rate, NOCTI scores for, you know, career and tech ed, keystones, like, we have all the quantitative data, but we also have a sense really about how our kids are doing in school, how they're thinking about school. So a lot of the things that impact, for a lot of the reasons that we're putting in things like social workers, trauma-informed training,
Right.
Those kind of things, we'll be able to hopefully determine if some of those things are having an impact, not necessarily isolated as one variable, but as a combination of variables.
Anything else for Jason? Okay, thank you, Jason. Sure.
There's lots going on.
Okay. All right, we move on to the remaining business under 12 policies. Item 12.12, including 12.6, those are the 6 policies: 901, 902, 908, 909, 910, and 911. Okay? I entertain a motion to accept them.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or questions?
The only question I had was answered when it was reported, so thank you for that help.
Okay? Mike?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Sylvan?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes?
Ken?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
I vote yes. Next, 13, athletics. Item 13.1, the filling of the boys soccer coach.
So moved. Second?
Any discussion?
I have a question. I don't know if that's gonna be you or it's gonna be, I thought on the last time we saw co-coaches, it was Ian and his father.
Correct.
And I saw the same salary base on that. And then I see this one where we get that other vacancy that we had,
Correct.
and I see the salary step 1. So that, did Ian's change at all with the third guy coming in, or the extra vacancy?
Well, Ian is a co-head coach, but
Okay.
he's also a co-assistant coach.
Okay.
It's about timing between him and his dad. So I'm not sure what you mean, but the salary isn't the same. It goes on half of wherever he would have been on the salary schedule for each of the positions.
So we didn't pull from theirs for the third?
Yeah.
That, okay. I just wanted, I mean, because we struggle there, and that's quality right there. And
Right.
I wouldn't want to pull off of them.
No.
Okay. Jim?
Yes.
Sylvan?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes?
Ken?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
I vote yes. Under financial report, item 18.1, pay the bills.
Second?
Any discussion, questions? All right, hearing none. Sylvan?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes?
Ken?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
I vote yes. That completes all our action items for the night. Information items, is there anything for the good of the order, other than I'll state, repeat what Jason mentioned tomorrow, Tuesday, August, tomorrow the 20th, we have our opening exercises at the middle school auditorium. Hopefully, if you're available as board members, it would be nice to be there.
I was just gonna wish you all well with the start of the school year. Mechanicsburg started today and I have to be there tomorrow for a record review day, so I will not be in attendance, but good luck starting the year.
Just know that your spirit will be there.
Yes, absolutely.
You have a good start too.
Yeah.
The athletic
Thank you.
leadership conference is this Saturday, correct?
I believe it is.
And
I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
I was on a bike ride with my grandson and just happened to check out the new surface on the tennis courts behind the high school, and they are beautiful. Whoever did that did a great job on that, and I also happened to meet our new head coach. He's quite a character. I think the kids love him from what I understand.
Great.
Jason, one quick question. When does the, I don't want to call it the evaluation, start at the middle school, where they're gonna come in and look at the scheduling and stuff? We had hired a private consultant last year, approved that, and they were gonna come in and,
He worked with them this summer.
but he.
In June.
Is he coming back to the fall, or is he gonna, or is he in the area of trying to?
She can still, there are a couple hours that she can still contact him, but what they did was, they made some small adjustments for the fall, looking to some possible bigger adjustments for next year, which if they require staffing would come through next year's budget cycle.
When would we be provided with their recommendations or their changes?
As special budget requests, they'd come through as special budget
I
requests.
understand, but maybe I'm phrasing it wrong. So we hired a consultant looked at the scheduling, and the question is his recommendation or his changes, which potentially could lead to a special budget request. When would the board have the availability of looking at what those recommended changes are and what the middle school has done to implement or not implement them? I mean, they did a report, correct? Or they just did verbal?
They worked with them at a table with different time frames and those kind of things. So, if Nancy would come and request staffing for the following year, then she would request the staffing and would provide the rationale based on the work that the scheduling committee did.
The consultant doesn't come in and say, I recommend this, and this, and this.
No.
He's working with them so that they come to a decision-making, as a team of, school administrators with him just leading through the process.
Right.
Does that help you? Just lead through, okay? Our next meeting is Tuesday, notice it's Tuesday, September 3rd, because Monday would be Labor Day, so we do meet on Tuesday the 3rd. Anything else? Okay, stand adjourned.